I guess we can start.
I've been waiting. I've been waiting for you to kick this thing off.
All right. Welcome to a BS podcast. Mark and Bobby back with you. Live and in person. Well, live for us, not for you. But in person, which is important because it sounds like that may be short-lived.
So, you said the word live there, and I made me think of something this week.
Oh, God.
You dropped the ball, brother. I
didn't drop the ball.
I was there. And it only.
And I was here cussing at a laptop trying to get it to work.
I figured your laptop learned some new words because I was texting you, and they were real short text messages coming back like, "Oh, that poor laptop." He's screaming at it.
I was not very happy. So I did a live on YouTube.
No, you
no, like 2 weeks.
Oh.
Was it 2 weeks ago?
Oh, yeah, the one you didn't tell me about. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. So I did a live like 2 weeks ago. And it was a lot of fun, and I thought it was good because I didn't have to do anything. I just could shoot the video, and it was on the YouTubes. So, and I had you berate me because, well, you didn't tell me about it. And I had somebody else say, oh, man, I'd appreciate it if you schedule it or whatever so we know it's on there. I'd love to get on and chat with you. So, following week, got back from, where did I go? Chicago Pipe Show. Went to Chicago Pipe Show. Come home. Thought Sunday night, I'll do a live tomorrow night after work so I can kind of show my haul from wherever I was. Chicago Pipe Show. God, I am not doing well today.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd do another live. So Sunday night, I went on, figured out how to schedule it, and tried to figure out how to make it work. Thought I had it figured out. Scheduled it for 8 p.m. on Monday. I get home from work. I had like an hour and 15 minutes before it was time. About 7:30, I come out here, turn everything on, get everything going, set my webcam up. Think this is going to be, just as easy as can be. And I can't get the thing every time you click go live from the scheduled thing. I get this spiraling wheel of death and it says going live. But it wouldn't do anything. So I waited and I waited and I waited. And I finally was like, forget it. I'm just going to start over. Well, every time I did it, that's exactly... I think I wound up with like 4 lives. I finally went in and erased them. But I had like 4 of them, and that was all I could ever get. It was irritating as all get out. And yes, I seriously considered shooting the laptop.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think it was the laptop's fault. I think it had something to do with the... with the way the YouTube was being set up. Don't really know. I haven't done enough of them to figure it out, but once I get it figured out, we're going to definitely do some more lives, because it was just doing a live makes, like for my pipe and tobacco channel, that just makes it easy.
I was ready. That would have been the first live I'd have ever participated in.
Well, I promise we'll do one.
So before we get
and I'll let you know that I'm doing one.
I appreciate it.
so I don't get hollered at.
Well, before we get in too far, what are you smoking, and what are you smoking it out of?
I am smoking one of my Peterson Irish Harps. This happens to be an 01 shape, and of course, it is in my preferred finish of sandblasted. And you'll have to hand me that bag. I don't remember. I'm smoking something new. This was a gift from Gary. Stilly Papa Bear on YouTube. Yeah. Stilly. Yeah, I think that's right. Anyways, Gary, I met up with Gary at the Chicago Pipe Show, and he hooked me up with a healthy sample of some Ken Byron Ventures Burley Morning Pipe. And that's kind of like his his signature blend, if you will.
Yeah.
It
smells great.
It's one of the tobacco he's usually smoking when you see him on the YouTubes.
Yeah, I definitely, I thought it smelled pretty good. Well, so you've kind of led us into a good topic here.
I can show this off. I keep forgetting we have this camera up here.
Yeah.
So that's my Peterson Irish Harp. And I showed you my main haul from
I think
Chicago
that's the coolest pipe you got.
I had it up on my YouTube channel the other night. So
yeah.
But yeah, so I bought my first Harriet pipe from Chris Harriet. He was at the Chicago show, and he had a lot of stuff on his table. He had a really good selection for the show. I wish I wouldn't have been on. If I had the budget that I had when I went to Muletown.
You're already at the next show.
Yeah, Columbus is the next show I'm going to. If I'd had the same budget that I had when I went to Muletown at Chicago, I probably honestly would have come home with probably 3 of Chris's pipes, because I was had 2 for sure, because I was battling between 2, and I was I really wanted it. And then there was Bruno Nuttons, which was at the next table. He had one that I was looking at that I kept. So I had about a half a dozen pipes from 3 different makers that I was kind of bouncing back and forth on. The one was I really wanted to get, but it would have just flat out blown my budget. I had the money to buy it, but I
just can't believe you actually had a budget. I've never seen you stick to a budget, and I've been on quite a few tool trucks with you.
Oh, I have to. Oh, this is, I promise you, pipes is the worst thing I've ever gotten into when it comes to this. I said I stuck to my budget.
I've seen multiple $1,000 tool truck days.
Okay, so I'll put it to you this way. I went to the show. I bought 3 pipes at the show. 2 for me, 1 for my kid. And this morning I ordered another one. So it's and the bad part is it's pipes is one of the, not to sound like I don't want this to sound wrong, but it's one of the per unit. Pipes is probably one of the cheapest things I got into. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah, it could be a really cheap thing for a normal person to get into. Now, let me, before we get too far into this, because this is where we're going to be, but I want to set the tone. So, you went to the Chicago Pipe Show this past Saturday.
Yeah.
And beforehand, you and me talked. I don't think we talked about it on the podcast, but you said one of your goals or something you were kind of tasking yourself with is to push yourself outside your comfort zone.
I think I did that.
Okay, and that's
because Gary that I got this tobacco from.
Yeah.
And then Jess from Jess Piping, both of those guys. I'd never met either one of them. I've seen them on YouTube, but I've never actually met them in person. So Saturday night I was sitting at a table with those guys. I'm trying to think of his name. It's Blake something, bunch of Roman numerals. From YouTube. I met him at the table. And then Paul and Chris from Grunwald Pipes, those are Indiana guys. And Justin from Pipes, Pours, and Pals. We were all sitting at a table together Saturday night. The first time I went out in the smoking tent, was out there, and I went out there by myself, and it was after I'd made like my first solid lap through the show. And I had bought one pipe at that point. I can show you that one. It's in my bag. But I went out there to smoke, and, well, I said heck with it, and I tried out my other new pipe. Which, if anybody's curious, my other pipe was, I bought I think it's a Saxon. K. Woody Saxon. I think that's how you say that. It's a reddish colored stain, and it's sandblasted. And I'm not going to lie, this is probably one of the absolute best smoking pipes I own. This thing smokes fantastic, and it's $55.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't, for the money, you can't go wrong. It's kind of like a K. Woody's, to me, is like a Bones. You just, after having that one, I was like thoroughly pleased. But back to your question. Sorry, I started to get sidetracked. So when I was out there the first time, I went out and I sat down by myself, just because at that point there was like people everywhere, and when I went to the smoking tent, it was like, okay, I got to get away from people for a minute. And I wasn't out there very long, and a couple of guys one of the two, they were both from Fort Wayne, sat down at the table with me. And so I chatted with them for a bit, and then, of course, I went in and made another lap around the show floor, and tried to decide what I was going to buy, and bid on some stuff in the silent auction. And then what? The second time I went out to the smoking tent, I deliberately sat at a table with people I didn't know.
Okay.
Which worked out really good, because I wound up getting to smoke a bowl of Esoterica Dunbar from 2018. It was delightful. That's a really hard tobacco to get a hold of. Even new, it's hard to get a hold of. And then what did I do? Then I went back in. After that time, that's when I went in. It was later in the day. Because the second time I was out in the smoking tent, I was out there for a while. And then I'll say around 2:30 or 3 o'clock is when I finally went in and made up my mind on which other pipe I was buying. And that's when I bought that one from Chris Harriet. And then after that, I was back out in the smoking tent. Pretty much. Well, I bought that and I wandered around the show for a while. But by like 4 o'clock, I was out in the smoking tent, and I only went back in the hotel for drinks.
Now, I know you go to some firewood stuff and things like that, and it seems like when you go there, a lot of the guys, you're doing a lot of stuff for content. Is this like that? Is the YouTube or the social media presence a really big thing there? Is there a lot of people getting content and doing that?
I didn't see it. I seen quite a few people taking video and stuff like that. But I want to say that they were, like there was a pretty good sized group, from China there, because there's a very large Chinese pipe market. Like they make the American pipe market look like nothing. So they're at that show, and like I seen a few of those folks that were videoing, booths and stuff, what was going on. I know Jess had some clips from the show that he put on his video. I took my camera and stuff and was planning on it, and once I got there, I think I took one video clip from early in the day on Saturday out in the smoking tent, And it was like, I started to do it a couple other times. I'm like, I don't want to have to try, and I don't want it to deduct from my experience.
Yeah.
So I did not worry with it being my first time to Chicago's pipe show. I did not worry about videoing. I wish I would have a little bit, even if it had just been some clips. But no, I didn't sweat it too much. It was like when I went to Muletown. Like, I got some clips from the Muletown show, but that was primarily because like it was so crowded. The Chicago show's a lot bigger. They have a lot more space, and like I think, what did Brian say? I was listening to the Pipes Magazine radio show this morning, and I think he said that they had like 900 and some odd people at the show in Chicago.
Now you're planning on going multiple days next year, aren't you?
Yeah, I definitely want to go more than one day next year.
Now they're not trying to fast forward now the Chicago show, but the one in Ohio, that's multiple days.
The show is, yes. I think we're going over Friday and Saturday.
Now you going with the indie crew?
No.
No.
I think me and Carmen are going. I think Carmen's going to go with me. That's why we'll go over during the day.
And where is it at? Columbus or Cleveland?
Columbus.
Okay.
So what we'll probably do is get up and go over Friday morning, and probably take her to do some shopping, because if I remember right, the Columbus show, I don't think anything really starts till Friday night. And so I'll go over Friday night to the hotel, because I don't think we're going to stay at the show hotel.
Okay.
I think we're going to stay in another town nearby. Some places I've stayed in the past, and I know there's stuff for Carmen to do there. And then Saturday I'll probably go to the show. And then if Carmen wants to go with me, she can. But if she would rather go shopping, she can go shopping.
Yeah.
But I don't know. She hasn't told me 100% for sure, but I know she was considering it.
Well, that'll be fun. I never knew. I never knew pipe smoking was that big, let alone that there's these shows that feature it.
And that's the thing is, I really do think pipe smoking is coming back. I mean, I think it's got to be, because there's lots of fairly new pipe makers coming onto the scene. Smoking pipes, those guys, they're definitely make a presence at shows and stuff.
What about the tobacco companies?
That was one thing a lot of folks was interested to see. Used to be like the big tobacco company you would see at the shows would definitely have been Sutliff. They always sponsored, and and I, like I said, this is the second show I've been to, but listening to everybody else, they were always very present and active, especially after Jeremy McKenna kind of took the helm at Sutliff. And with STG buying them out, I know that some folks were concerned about that. But, like, STG had a very big table set up. They were passing out coupons for, you could get a free ounce of tobacco of your choice off the table, out of their bulk. But, so they were there and present and made it, I think they made a good showing.
Okay. What's the age? This a mixed bag, or
At the pipe show?
Yeah, like the participants, the people there.
At Chicago?
Yeah.
I'll say 10 years old and up.
Were there a lot of wax mustaches there? How was the PBR selling?
I honestly, the number one beer I seen was from Revolution Brewing, was their Anti-Hero IPA. And it was good. It was the only beer I drank. And that was because I had some guy from the Chicagoland area browbeat me into trying one.
Y'all
After we got into a conversation regarding beer. So, and he was like, you should try this. You should go get one. You've got tickets for free one even. Because with your show entry, like, I know Chicago's that way, or I presume Chicago's that way because you get the drink tickets. I know Vegas is that way because I've heard Brian Levine talk about it on his podcast. They use those ballrooms in the hotel, and a lot of times you reserve that. Well, you have to spend so much money in beer and food too.
Oh.
And so it was one of those deals where he I think with the show you had to buy so they just add that into the cost of your entry fee. So like if you pre-registered for the Chicago show, it was like, I think it was $45. So for your $45, you could go to the pipe show, the smoking tent. You could go to most of the, if not all of the seminars. There were some other things that you had to sign up for and pay separate to go to. But most of the stuff was covered. And then you got, I don't remember how many, I think it's 6 drink tickets. And like, so you could have got 6 pops or 3 beers or 2 mixed drinks with your tickets.
Like a 2-drink minimum at a comedy club.
Kinda, yeah. But now, like, for me, this was funny, I didn't realize it until I was on my way home. Because I called Carmen. I got out onto the interstate to head back home, and I called Carmen and says, hey, I'm leaving Chicago. I said, I'm back on the highway, blah, blah, blah. And I made the comment, I says, I'm kind of hungry. I says, I hope something's open. She says, well, what all have you eaten today? And I was like, I don't think I ate anything. She's like, you haven't eaten anything all day today? I was like, no. I said, I've drank 10 or 12 cups of coffee. I drank like literally 10 or 12 large cups of coffee, and it pained me because I'm not a fan of the Starbucks, but that's what you could get in a hotel. So I spent
of the Starbucks.
I spent a small fortune on coffee. Like, if I hadn't been buying coffee all day, I could have probably bought another pipe.
Oh, that's funny.
But it was a good time, though. I definitely plan to go back. And I want to try and go to as many shows as I can make it to. I really want to, I really think I'm going to stick to going to ones that are within driving distance, though. Like, next month is Capital Land. And I think Capital Land would be a cool one to go to. It's in upstate New York. I've never been to upstate New York.
You can drive there.
I know. But it's farther than I want to drive, and it's, I don't know, just not the right time of year for me to do that.
Does Vegas have one?
Yes, but I'm not going to Vegas.
If you're going to go to any conventions, you always got to go to the Vegas one.
Nope.
They say there's some people that shouldn't go there, and I know I'm one of them.
See, I wouldn't have any trouble because I'm not. You and I have talked about this before. I'm not a gambler, so I don't have to worry about that. I don't even like the idea of going into a casino. I've been twice in my adult life and have no desire to ever go back. And I even won money the first time. Had no clue what I was doing.
You need to go with us.
No.
It's not about the gambling. It's the experience. My buddy, we're playing blackjack, and it comes to my buddy Sean. And Sean ain't no small feller, and he ain't really scared of anything. And they're like, hit her pass. And he's just sitting there quiet, staring at his cards. Sir, hit her pass. He's like, hold on, I'm counting.
Hold on, I'm counting.
Yeah. we weren't allowed to play blackjack anymore. Fortunate enough, we were losing anyway. So
some people just have no sense of humor.
Yeah, it's like you can't have fun anymore.
10 years ago, I definitely had gone to Vegas.
Yeah.
15, however long. To me, the problem with Vegas is it's just gotten so expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even get a cheap hotel room unless you want sticky carpet anymore in Vegas. I mean, I remember you used to be able to go to Vegas round trip with your hotel for like a 3 or 4 day weekend for like $500, and that included airfare.
Yeah. You remember wasn't Fort Wayne doing like an $80 it was like $80 per trip, but
yeah, it was like $89 or $99 to
just fly out there, another $99, or maybe it was $200 to get back. I don't know.
No, it was like $100 each way.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. But you used to literally be able to do like a 3-day weekend to Vegas out of Fort Wayne. Now, I'm not including food money or gambling money or anything. I'm talking hotel and flights. It was like $500 a person, like easy. You cannot do that now.
Oh no, you can't. I mean, just a hotel to some type of vacation
I don't even
spot.
I don't even know that you can find a cheap flight to Vegas out of Fort Wayne, even on the cattle bus.
Yeah.
What do you call that? Allegiant Air or Spirit Airlines or whatever that cheap one is.
They haven't grounded Spirit yet. No, it's yeah. What and that's anymore Airbnbs. That's about the way to go. Except for they pay you for everything. I was talking to Kurt because they're going to South Carolina for a wedding that we're all supposed to be going to, but they're the only ones dumb enough to go. And he says, "Well, we're just going to stay. There's $800 for 5 or 6 nights." And he's like, "Such a good deal." I says, "Yeah, but Airbnb, you got to watch it. That's what the room costs, but you got to pay a cleaning fee. You got to pay the taxes."
Because that was when we went on the motorcycle trip to South Carolina last year, or to North Carolina, whatever I said. This is North Carolina. We go to Bryson City. How's that?
There you are.
When we went to Bryson City last year, before we rented a cabin from Jerry at the campground, I was just kind of looking to see what it would be for an Airbnb. And it was like, I found a couple spots, and I was like, called Brandon. I was like, hey, I was like, dude, I can get us an Airbnb for less than what we're spending on the cabin at Jerry's if you're interested in trying that. And I says, the one place even has a garage, so like we can actually park the bikes inside at night and we don't have to dry them off in the mornings and all that sort of stuff. And he's like, oh, okay, well, let me know what you find out. And like when I looked at it, like it was going to save us quite a bit per night. I thought, well, that'll be awesome. Well, when you start doing it, just like you said, by the time they tack all the cleaning fees, the convenience fee, the booking fee, and all that crap on it, it was $100 a night more than what Jerry charges for them cabins.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The only way to do Airbnbs is like big places with a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's,
Because those all those bullcrap fees don't go up; they're just the same. If we'd have been down there for a week, we could have done it and saved money.
Yeah.
But because we were just going for a 4-day weekend, it didn't. You couldn't justify it.
Where's the trip going this year?
We'll be someplace in Kentucky this year.
You go by the farm?
Planning on it. Check out, see how I seen pictures of the new barn inside. It's really nice.
Nice.
They had, I know they have a functioning bathroom in it right currently.
Oh.
But like the bedrooms are studded in, but they're not drywalled and that sort of stuff. But it's looking really nice. But
oh, good.
It's definitely coming along. So
fire up there.
the Burley morning pipe's pretty good. I should have let it dry out a little bit before I packed it though.
Yeah.
It's a little damp.
From?
Just from it being tobacco.
Oh.
Sometimes it's like that. It's a little moist. It's a little... And I'm trying to knock some ash off of it and see if that don't help. That might help some.
Just exhilarating.
Yeah. So you're going to be playing on a boat this weekend.
Be playing on a boat Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yeah. Hopefully it's the new weekend schedule for me.
So, what are you going to do if you're still working your other job Monday through Thursday?
I will tell them tough shit.
No.
Beep.
And then, I know the guy that you're going to work for has made this comment to you too. So, what about your family?
So what we do, like we go on a vacation, Mackinac. So we love going to Mackinac. I like northern Michigan. My wife and kids, they like to shop on Mackinac, and we get to ride a boat over. You know, when we go there, I go down to the Hotel Iroquois, or I'm saying it wrong. So if somebody wants to be the grammar police and tell me how stupid I am, we already know. But I go down to this hotel that's got its own private pier. I sit there. I can't, you know me, I can't sit still. I can't sit around. I sit out in that pier and watch boats come in all day. And then I get on my phone, I get on the boat tracking app, and I just see what freighters are coming. Then I get on Google and read about the freighters. That's my vacation. So
it's kind of like me, sitting on a balcony, overlooking the parkway,
watching people
eating
buckwheat pancakes.
Yeah.
and that's, so I'm gonna be working on the chain of Bass Islands. Be Put-in Bay, be the main island, and also Middle Bass. Put-in Bay is South Bass Island with the town of Put-in Bay on it, or the it's not a city, but whatever, the incorporated area of Put-in Bay. But there's also, South Bass, North Bass, Rattlesnake, Kelly's Island. That's what we do for fun. Like, we go to that kind of stuff. And in all honesty, Katie has more fun if her and the girls can just go out to the shops. I can be at work and work my time. And when I get done, go hang out with them. And that's like exactly what, we would almost do anyways, rather than me going to the boutiques with them, just following them around.
Yeah.
But,
well, I guess that was what I was getting at. So, and I'm sure they won't go every weekend, but
no.
But they're planning some weekends just going with you.
It probably be every other, because Alyssa has her job here, And it's, you know, we want her working. We want her doing, doing this adult stuff. She gets her license here in like 2 weeks. So, excuse me. She's not staying here while we're over there, but she has stuff she wants to do here. Alex has stuff she wants to do here. We're not going to make them go every weekend, but also we're gonna go do this stuff, hang out and have fun. But yeah, in all honesty, on the weekends, it's the evening where me and Katie hang out anyways. And us hanging out is like we're sitting down eating.
Going to the grocery store.
Yeah. Like, and that'll, I told her, cause she can't go to the grocery without me. I can't go without her. We yin and yang very well at the grocery, or we end up with dumb crap.
Oh, now see, that's the reason Carmen goes to the store by herself most of the time. Cause if I go with her, like, the grocery bill goes up by twofold.
Oh, yeah. See, Katie does great on a lot of stuff, but then like, oh, I got some steaks for us. You go over there and it's like half brown sirloin steaks. It's like, no, we get ribeyes. We get some T-bones or whatnot. Or I got these, they're on sale. They're the cheapest ones. I got a roast. Like, okay, what do we do well with each other at the grocery, but
I'll have to get with you on the whole roast thing. Carmen has got it because just trying to save some money on red meat.
Yeah.
Has been buying like chuck roast or an English roast.
Mm-hmm.
And she cooks it in a crock pot and makes like a shredded beef with it. And then you could eat it plain, or you could put it like she makes sliders out of it. Puts it on little slider buns. Puts cheese on it and then toast them in the oven. It's actually really good.
Yeah. And that's probably every other week. And here we're still eating roast off our cow. So, and we're down to the weird roasts on that. And you just, we don't know. So she'll either call my mom or her mom. And, those two women know how to cook some real cheap crap. But
that's how, that's how my mom.
Yeah, we know how to cook what's on sale, but yeah, that's. I mean, if we want to hang out, we can hang out. But we're both. I mean, you remember because we worked together when back in the day. Katie worked the weekends. I didn't, and she worked 16-hour shifts. I didn't see her on the weekends.
I don't want this to sound mean.
Oh no,
to
you're
your
exactly
wife or
right.
my wife.
I
missed those weekends. Your wife was at work. My wife was at work. Your kids didn't want to hang out with you all day, so they went to grandma's. My kids didn't want to hang out with me all day Saturday, so they went with grandma.
We got so much done. Went to so many auctions, and hung out with Homer. It was.
And I love my kid. I love her.
You're
to
holding
death.
your hand up like you're swearing to God on this.
I do, but it was just like, well, in our, we worked all week. Our kids just knew that we were going to be working on something Saturday mornings.
Yep.
If we were going to be lounging around, it was Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon when, like, for me, it's when Carmen was home.
Yeah.
But while Carmen was at work, I had stuff I needed to do that I can't do through the week. And Hadley's like, every now and then she didn't mind hanging out and going and doing stuff, but it's like, if I told her, what are we doing Saturday? I'm going to see Henry's to pick up a load of steel. I'm going to Beans' house.
Yep.
And off to Grandma she'd go.
And it was really fun times, but we did that at our point because we didn't have to, our kids were too young to get themselves on the bus. And so it just didn't work. Katie had during all week off. She had a real she's a nurse, so she had a real flexible schedule. She would work during the week, but she'd work a 6-hour shift or something just to cover nursing hours. Now it's kind of almost like my turn. It's something right now. this is the way I can have my cake and eat it too. I can still have my union job, my union benefits, in my union pay, and also I can be, I want to be a captain. Well, it's all about time. Nobody's going to hire me. I have my captain's license, yes, but nobody's just going to hire me. Like, what have you what vessels have you piloted? Oh, a 2008 Nautique, like 22 and a half foot. Yeah, we're not going to put.
You're not going to be running this ferry that we're loading tractor trailers on.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, you got to get the experience, and this is, there's just no other way around it. You can, money can buy you a lot of the stuff. It can't buy you the license, but having money can buy you. It's okay not to go to work today because I'm gonna go to school. It's I can make sure I have X, Y, and Z to help me prepare for this. But when it comes down to the experience, the sea time, you just got to go do it. And these guys, he loves the idea. And his, I mean, Billy, he long term, he wants me to work there, like full time maintenance guy. Their maintenance guys are like 73 and 74 years old. And it's, I don't know if it's because we're getting older. I told the guy, I'm like, you do not look a day over 55. Like, he understood. It's like, well, that's a pretty good compliment. Like, if I'm
convinced
70,
that has something to do with it.
Oh yeah, just working.
Because like I was at the Chicago show, we were in a smoking tent, and there's a guy, and he was a young fella. I presume he was there with his old man. But, like, this kid seriously looked like he was 12.
Well, so he worked up until about the age I am, worked for BP. He was in maintenance. And I was going to ask him if he knew our old buddy, what was it, John Black or Jim Black from Paul's Scrapyard, Salvage Yard.
Oh, yeah.
But I think he was in Washington. But regardless. He's kind of about the same thing I did, and he told me a lot, like, hey, a lot of these guys who live on the island, they live here with their parents. The other kid who's doing this, he's lived on Middle Bass Island his whole life, and he got a property severely discounted to him because the people would rather have seen, they were still. We wanted to see this. And that guy told me, he says, the only reason I can afford to live here is because I inherited the house. And I didn't, he don't know me from Adam, but it's like, I know what the houses cost over here. As long as I'm making what I'm making, I can afford it. But that's looking too far into the future. Realistically, right now, I'm really excited to go over and.
Well, I can tell you at some point this summer, you're going to have a tyrannical passenger on your ferry.
Yes.
When I told Carmen where you were going,
oh God,
she was like, "Oh, we have to go." Because Carmen when Carl was still shooting for the Army, they would go to Camp Perry. Well, they would usually take a day and go to South Bass Island.
Yeah. And
so Carmen hasn't been in years and would love to go. And when I told her that's where you were going, not instead of Mackinac, because we were talking about it, we were going someplace. I don't remember where we were driving to. I have no idea. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I was talking to Carmen about it while we were driving someplace. And she's like, well, I thought he was going to Mackinac. I was like, and I explained what took place and how that lady says, hey, call these places and check with them. But they were both in Ohio. And she was like, oh, we have to go. And I'm like, yep. So we'll figure out a weekend when Katie and the girls are over there.
Yeah.
And then me and Carmen will hoof it over there and maybe get Hadley to go if Jackson's working that weekend or whatever.
No, it's it's when the first time I took Katie over there, and at that point, in my mind, I was only going to probably work on the ferries at Mackinac. But first time I took Katie over there, I was telling her, like, now this isn't Mackinac Island. She's like, well, I read a lot of stuff. It's a party island. And I was like, yeah, well, that's what I've always known it as. Now, what's real funny, real quick side, I'm gonna call it a bob. I'm gonna pull a bob right now.
Left turn, Clyde.
Yeah, I had that muck blower for the lake house. Sold the lake house, so I was selling off that stuff. The guy that came and bought that was he was a cop from over in Ohio, and his brother is a sheriff for Ottawa County, South Bass Islands in Ottawa County.
Okay.
His brother is stationed on the island. Him and 3 other county sheriffs are tasked with cleaning the island up. Because, and there ain't nothing wrong with, like, hey, we're going to have our bachelor or bachelorette party, and we're going to go over to South Bass and get, schnookered up.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But we're going to get schnookered up and strips stark naked and run around. Like, all right. Hold on. Like
sounds like a normal Saturday night here at the compound.
Yeah, it might fly in Kosciuszko County, but it's changed, or it is changing, and I don't know. There's for me it could be anywhere. Well, that, and I don't know if like when you're there how close you are to Canada, because there's South Bass, Middle Bass, North Bass. Then an island called Pell Island. That's Canada. Like, I'm not gonna say.
Now, is Pell Island one of them places where you can go without a passport and all that crap, like that place where you guys were?
I know. I don't know what to incriminate myself here, but I am a captain who has taken international voyages on a rental pontoon off Drummond Island, and we went there. I was probably the last. Like, I don't drink much anymore. That was probably the last time I had that perfect glow. I like speared a bunch of tadpoles. I was hunting everything. I was out there for America, and I don't know. I don't even want to answer that because I have no clue. As far as I know, you leave the country, you go somewhere. If they have a port, you have to go in through there, and,
right,
and you show your passport and all that. But I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's an island in Ohio, so you gotta watch out for that, because you ever get backed in a corner in Ohio, all you do is yell out "OH." The rest of them, "I-O!" Because, well, same thing in Michigan. So our mutual friend Gavin, Gavin told me, he's like, "Oh, my wife loves listening to your podcast." So shout out, Lana.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, I don't. Well, I'm sure she's probably just like, this is why he's this way. But so you know Gavin. You ever think Gavin would have anything at all to do with college football?
No. I look at Gavin and he. And my mind says, so you put this oblong ball through that net up there?
Yeah.
Kind of like me.
Yeah. So, no. You say something about, like, Michigan University, he will tell you right there. He's like, we do not talk about that. We are a state family. Now they're a state family because, his grandpa's a vet through Michigan State. Like, they're a Michigan State alumnus family, and
my God, it's just a game, people.
But that's Michigan and Ohio. Like, those guys, those people. I grew up in a Catholic grade school, so there's God Country and Notre Dame.
Yep.
And you're the same. You're from this area. It's Notre Dame football.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
we don't sit here and like, they'll fight you. They will fight you right now over it.
And see, that's the one thing. The only reason this will sound terrible, anymore, the only sports that I know is going on has to do with the Tennessee Vols. And it's because one of the podcasts that I listen to, they're the only two guys I can listen to talk about sports.
Yeah.
And it's because it'd be like you and me talking about sports.
Yeah.
It's like they follow it and they're definitely into it, but it's like, yeah, it was something to do. It was so they're kind of fun to listen to about it. I have that's
Speaking
hilarious.
of Gavin.
Speaking of Gavin, I have no clue what they're talking about. Obviously, I know who the, Vols, Tennessee Vols are, but I mean, I spend enough time in East Tennessee to
understand.
I'm the only thing I'm really missing is a mailing address at this point. Let's be realistic.
Yeah. College football to me is like demolition derbies, and I say it. We grew up truck pulling demolition derbies, and they were great. It's like hockey, even better. I like watching contact sports. I like watching fast sports. I like watching interface sports. That's hockey. I can't watch hockey because I don't understand it. But also like truck pulling or racing.
I can watch hockey as long as we're in person.
Yeah. But
I love going to hockey games.
I love like truck pulling or going like back when Bearfield Speedway was around because you knew who hated each other. You knew the drama behind it.
Yeah.
And yeah, college football used to be cool. NIL's kind of making it cool again because now they can pay these players and like some crap teams can actually do pretty good because, well, they have a few tech billionaires.
Hey, speaking of truck pulls, I heard some tales about the last pull at our county fairgrounds, and there was some claims of trucks being messed with and all sorts of stuff. And I thought, you know what? When you and I were teching that pull, we never had those complaints. Nope. Because even if somebody just said something, it was like, yeah, it's a county pull. Get over it.
Shut up.
Beat feet.
But, like, remember when we told the one local boy when he was talking about all that? We're like, aren't you in John Chu's class? You're going to lose anyways. Like, we should be able to hang weight. Like, John Chu's going to beat you. And, like, 4 other people. And we like the kid.
Yeah.
But it's like, go up to the class above him that his son pulls in, and he's going to really embarrass you.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
When we teched it was awesome. It's like, well, what are your rules? I don't know, Brian. What do you think they should be? Hey, I got to go pick up my kid.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I ruined it. We were doing so good. See, when we're
doing pretty good. We're at like 58 minutes.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, granted, some of that's not like podcast-ish. Is before we said
about 48 minutes of it.
I don't know. We'll find out in a minute. If I keep dragging this out, we'll hit an hour. You only got to make it another 52 seconds, 51 seconds.
We can do that. So yeah, probably be having some driving down the road podcasts. We're gonna have to rate those ones R. Because driving on the turnpike in Ohio is going to be.
I should tell you this in person.
Why are you putting your hand on your gun?
If we can't get together even via Zoom, I have a backup plan.
Good.
So, I talked to Chad a little bit, and I think me and Chad are going to try and do a few on like cigar stuff.
Oh, you're just replacing me.
No, because you won't sit. You don't like cigars.
You are replacing me.
No.
I don't like them. I'll still be. No, it's okay. I hope you and Chad have fun.
Oh God, here we go. You're such. You're like.
When can I comment on this?
We haven't recorded one yet. This is like dealing with a woman.
No, I'm way worse.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up because we made it to an hour.
Yay!
Hey. So. We will get off of here so Mark can go pick up his kid because he failed to mention that part to me. That might be why he's getting replaced.
I was just told that.
Oh, my God. Anyways, we appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm not going to lie. I forgot to look to see if we had any comments or any of that stuff. Yeah. Anyways, We appreciate y'all tuning in and listening. Don't forget, if you are interested, check out the video edition of the podcast on YouTube and Rumble. ABS Podcast. But anyways, we will talk to you again soon. Thanks for listening. Take care. My desk chair is stuck to it. I gotta find some different desk chairs too. These suck.
I know that was my job.
Yeah.
Hey, I look. There's stuff out by trash cans. I'm looking.